Hello everyone, welcome to a new episode of Am I the Asshole? If you like hearing Reddit stories, it would really support the channel if you could like or subscribe. Now let's get started with our first story. Am I the asshole for telling my daughter-in-law and son that it is too late and I will not change the family vacation plans so they can come? Every year, I try to do a family vacation. Around Easter, I asked everyone for their availability. The best days for almost everyone was a winter vacation. My daughter-in-law, and so told me that day wouldn't work for her, so they can't go. I asked if the backup days would work, and it was a no. Usually the vacation is something that everyone can drive to. It was going to be the same until all the adults agreed the kids were old enough to leave the country. So now the trip is to Europe. Everyone has bought their tickets, and I have booked where we are staying. Everything is getting finalized. My son and daughter-in-law were not in the family vacation chat since they weren't going on the vacation. They heard about the plans and want to be added in. She called me up asking about it and what they need to do. I asked her how she could get off work, and she explained she just could. I personally think she didn't want to go on the trip until she learned it was to Europe and lied to me that she couldn't come in the first place. I told her it is too late, things are booked, and I am not willing to pay more than I already have. I paid for all the lodging. We would need to upgrade to fit 2 more adults. She asked if I was serious and that it is cruel to not include them on a family trip around Christmas. I told her it is what it is and it's not my fault. My son is pissed. He told me that I can afford to add 2 more adults. That is true. I reiterated what I told his wife. He called me a jerk. I want an outside opinion, not the asshole. First of all, you planned everything already. And if your daughter-in-law really changed everything just because the trip was to somewhere she wanted to go, doesn't sound good. Second, why can't they pay the extra if they want to come? Aren't they adults already? I know they will not be able to afford it if they have to buy their own logging and everything. I could give them that option, but I think it will throw gas on the flame. Sounds like they think they're entitled to it, but only if it suits them. They're the worst. Info. I am curious as to why the destination for the trip was not also decided when the dates were, though. I wouldn't really want to commit to an unknown vacation until I had a few details either. Also, if they said when the date was picked that they were coming, would the lodging not have still been more with the 2 extra people? Why were you okay with the extra cost then, but not now? Is it just spite? Our FMSLE always does date first, since it is much harder to find time for everyone that works. When we know the date, we pick a place that would be nice and fit the time. It don't make sense to say a beach vacation when we don't know if summer will work. Or let's go skiing if we don't know it will be in winter. Also, before we want it in driving distance. For everyone, the season me go will change what we're doing. I totally understand this mentality. Find common date, then choose location. If speculating, I'd imagine they probably did fib about not being able to get time off work for what they thought would be your traditional family vacay because they know they can do it next year. And this year, they might have wanted to use their PTO on something that has a higher value to them. Not to mean that your traditional trip isn't valuable, but they might have just wanted to prioritize something else. However, when the ante was upped to Europe trip, that's a horse of a different color. That is an experience they likely would have prioritized using their PTO for. I think it's rather entitled of them to say, you can afford it. But I do also think you could have reconnected with them at the beginning when you knew it was a different trip experience to give them the chance to reconsider. And respectfully, now I do think your reaction is potentially justifiably petty. It's like if every year my family went to a preseason NFL game. I have fun, I know what to expect, but this year I've decided I'll skip this time because I want to do something else with my Saturday. Only to find out months later that my family decided instead they're getting tickets to the Super Bowl. And they didn't invite me because I had already said no to the preseason game. I'd be sad and upset because the Super Bowl is an experience that doesn't come around every year. And it's higher stakes, and I would have been happy to prioritize changing my schedule around to attend that more special event. I don't think anyone is the AH here. I think there was a failure to communicate at the very beginning from your son and daughter-in-law as to their actual reasoning for saying no. Then there was a failure on your part to communicate when the plans changed so drastically. And now I think you're being a bit petty, and they're being entitled. Addendum, OP. If you read this comment, if you value your relationship with your son, and by extension your daughter-in-law, I strongly urge you to talk to them about what I perceive to be your hurt feelings over this situation. I know they are adult children, but you are still their parent and elder. Sometimes in family dynamics, it's hard to grow out of childish behavior when it comes to engaging with our parents. I also believe they are acting entitled at this stage in their reaction. But I would also be devastated at the end of the day, and our relationship permanently altered if my parents held strong to their decision out of what I would perceive is spite, when we could end up having a productive conversation where we both share our thoughts and feelings about the situation and what we feel obligated to as family in general, hopefully coming out stronger from the other side. If your goal is to enjoy a happy family holiday together, I would encourage you to move past this and make peace with them and invite them along. I don't think you'd be obligated to pay the full additional cost to join, but again, maybe by discussing your emotions over this situation, you can come to a compromise here as well. Wishing you a happy holiday, hopefully with your entire family together in harmony. Well, that's another episode of Am I the Asshole in the books. I really appreciate all of you who made it this far into the video. Of course, if you enjoyed this video, it would really help the channel out a lot if you gave the video a thumbs up, subscribe, or leave a comment down below. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.